I feel like shit.
Monday, happy days. Tuesday, Wednesday, happy days.
It's just one of those
happy days. The weekend comes, let's not go home.
It's just one of those days where you don't want to wake up. Everything is everybody sucks. You don't really know why, but you want to justify ripping someone's head off. No human contact, and if you interact, your life is on contract. Your best bet,
Just knock it off, you scum fuckhead.
it's just one of those days. It's just one of those.
Happy days.
It's just one of those.
Happy days.
It's just one of those
Happy
days.
The weekend comes, let's not go home. Ready to extend.
It's just one of those days, feeling like a freight train. First one to complain, leaves with the bloodstain. Damn right, I'm a maniac. You better shoot, cause I'm fucking up your program. And you go stuck up, you just locked up. That's the line to get fucked up. Your best bet is to stay away, motherfucker. It's just,
I'm losing my cool.
it's all
Monday,
about,
happy days.
it's just one of those,
Happy days.
it's just one of those
Happy
days.
The weekend comes, let's not go home. Ready to extend. These days.
I feel like shit. My suggestion is distance. Right now I'm dangerous. Right now I'm dangerous.
Something's happening to the bonds.
My day keeps going this way and this way.
I'm gonna pop you one so you'll stop playing games.
Give me something great. Give me something great. I hope you know I'm like a chainsaw. A chainsaw. A motherfucking chainsaw.
What?
So come and get it.
What we got here is a case of mistaken identity, you know? See, now this here is
Not Robert.
There we are. Good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. There's also something else I was going to say, but I fucked it up already. So bear with me just now. All righty, people. That was what I was also going to say. I should maybe write like an opening start for each episode. But anyway, how's everyone doing? My name is Chief Moody, of course, and welcome to episode 93 of the Mood of the Nation podcast. I hope everyone's doing well. I hope you've all had a fantastic weekend. A pretty quiet weekend, well, mainly yesterday and Saturday, but today was quite busy, which I'll definitely get into maybe later on if you guys want to. I know it's already posted on Telegram through PA Scotland, but I'll talk about that a little bit in just a short moment. Good morning. Well, I don't think there's any point to say good morning, to be quite honest. Well, I've done the intro. Okay, that's the that's the main point here. Let me have a look and see who's in the chat real quick. With GI Channel 1, how you doing? Thank you very much for watching the show. It's 12:30 at midnight here, but I'll try to stay awake. I need some good news. There will definitely be some good news, sir, because today is going to be more of a lighthearted type of episode. Well, kind of. It's definitely a lot more white pilling than, say, the previous two episodes I did for Mood of the Nation. I'll also take this off. I don't really need it just now. I'll need it back in at some point later on in the episode. Who else is here? We got Gammon Savage in the chat. How you doing? Thank you very much for watching the show. English Rose is with us. Hello, everyone. I hope you've all had a lovely weekend. Same to yourself, English Rose. Thank you very much for the comment in the chat. Roscoe is with us. How you doing, Roscoe? Thank you very much for watching the show. Whoa, we got Joe Marsh. He's in the chat with us. Hello, Joe. Thank you very much for watching the show. Great. Appreciate you being here. We have also the Earl of Stair. Hello. Thank you very much for watching the show. Appreciate you being here. Ugly Truth is with us. Good evening, fellow bigots. Good evening to you too. And Ugly Truth, thank you very much for watching the show. We also have Canny Henny in the chat. Hello, Canny. Thank you very much for watching the show. Bill Athling is in the chat with us. Evening, good people. Evening, Chief Mooney. Good evening to you too, Bill. Thank you very much for watching. Kitchen Skillet is with us. How you doing? Inshallah, Streaky Bacon. Inshallah. Thank you very much for watching the show. What Tyler 1381, how you doing? Thank you very much for watching the show. We also have Resisting the Lies, or DJ once again. Thank you very much for watching. Meanwhile, S&P is still using taxpayers' cash to fund Stonewall. Stark contrast between that and Tavistock shutting south of the border, but I white pill for all that. Yeah, I'll definitely cover that in a short moment here in regards to that. We also have Rory Herbert in the chat with us saying, hail to the chief. Well, thank you very much, Rory. I appreciate that comment. Who have I not mentioned in the chat just now. Hold on. The Duke of Bedford. Hello, Duke of Bedford. Thank you very much for watching the show. I was about to say I'm caught up with the chat, but no, I'm not. Kingdom of England, how you doing? Thank you very much for watching the show. We also have Ragnar Iron Spears with us. Thank you very much for watching. Also to mention, Ragnar Iron Spear will be live at 7 p.m. if I'm not mistaken. Later on this evening, he will be live, and his guest for this evening, I hope I'm saying this correctly, I think it's tonight or maybe another night, but tonight, I think, Ragnar Iron Spear will be live at 7 p.m. and he'll have a guest on his show, which is the Ayatollah. So if you're interested, I'll post a link in the chat later on for people who want to get into the stream or watch the stream if they want to. Of course, there's the other streams going on later on this evening, such as the PA Book Club with Mark, Laura, Aunt Sally, and Natty, I think. They will be live at 7 p.m. as well. Again, I'll also post the links in the chat later on. Again, if you're interested in that as well, having both streams on at the same time or one of the two, I don't know. But the links will be in the chat much later on this evening. Again, towards the end, I would definitely say to that, I really need a fucking haircut at some point. Sorry. Who else is here? Anglo-Saxon is with us. How you doing? Thank you very much for watching the show. The Ayatollah, yeah, that's the one. Hightower 005. Hello, Hightower. Thank you very much for watching the show. I'm doing well. Thank you very much. I hope you're doing well. Definitely need to catch up at some point. Definitely. Right then. Thank you all very much once again for coming along to watch the 93rd episode of Mood of the Nation. We're about 7 episodes away until we hit the big 100th episode. I actually cannot wait for that. I kind of have it planned out, sort of. I had to look into the calendar and see when exactly it will be, which particular day will be a Thursday or a Sunday. Now, judging from the calendar, I might have even mentioned this on the previous episode. In fact, I think I might have mentioned this with Joe, because I did ask them if he wanted to come on for the 100th episode, just as a small appearance type of thing, like everyone else. I think it's supposed to be on a Thursday, but I think I'll postpone that for a Sunday so that, again, more people watch it, and hopefully more people will come along to be as a guest. Hopefully, anyway. Streaky Bacon, there's more quality streams tonight than when the toilet than when the toilets were broke at the in continuous. I see. Well, thank you, Streaky Bacon. Thank you. Just 1 second, I'll have a quick drink. There's also Jojo Gizmo in the chat. Thank you very much for watching the show. I've also noticed as well, by the way, I was out yesterday at my local store. As I mentioned on the show before, I'm planning on going back to basics with my YouTube channel. Well, not just my YouTube channel, but content creating as a whole. And I want to get back into making regular videos rather than just making Mood of the Nation every 2 episodes per week. So I have found something that could be useful in terms of like filming type of thing. I do have a project in the works, which last time I've written the script for that was maybe back in like April or May. I'm not entirely too sure, but I really need to get back onto it. I mentioned before that I'm working on a Mad Lads type of video called Icons of Nationalism, because I figured Dankula will never cover, some of the people within our movement. So I figured, right, well, if he's not going to do it, someone else has to do it. So I'm working on the first episode. Well, I say the first episode because if it's popular enough, then maybe it might spawn into a full series and maybe like more episodes, but I'm not entirely too sure. We'll definitely wait and see with that. I also have another idea that's been in my head for like a long while now, and I haven't written a script for it, but it's in my notes for like ideas for future videos and whatnot. I don't know if I should maybe say it here because again, I want it to be like my idea and hopefully no one picks it up. But what I want to do is, I might as well just say it just now. So does everyone, maybe a silly question to ask people in the chat, but I'm sure everyone remembers Steve Irwin, a very well-known, very famous, like crocodile hunter. Well, it was not like a crocodile hunter, but I don't know how you want to call it. Someone who's like an expert on animals, like, and also like searches specific animals for his shows and for his own for his own. I think he has his own zoo in Australia, if I'm not mistaken. I had this idea in my head that it might be a really silly idea to do, but it might be, yeah, the croc guy, yeah. Um, I kind of want this idea to maybe like go back to like, yeah, he got killed by the stingray, which of course is horrible. Don't get me wrong with that. My idea to do is that I want to go back to like maybe the early years of YouTube, like kind of like the golden age of the like anti SJW type of videos. So the title of the project, again, it's not going to be like confirmed or anything. It might change later on. It's called SJW. No, sorry, it's called Steve Irwin SJW Hunter. So it may sound incredibly silly and absurd, but it's something that I thought, well, I wonder what would happen if if we did it like that way, kind of a thing. But you never know. It might come to fruition, maybe not. Again, it's only just like an idea to do. But uh, if if it sounds like a good idea, then I'll probably do it a lot more. But we'll definitely wait and see with that. Let me just have a quick drink, and then we shall see into the episode. So yeah, that's a small update with that. Now then, today's episode, as I mentioned, is definitely going to be a lot more of a white pilling type of episode. It's not going to be like the last two, where it's quite down and gloom obviously because of the subject matter. But today's episode is definitely going to be more of a white pilling type of episode, a lot of topics. And another thing to mention is with the previous episode as well, there might be a chance I might end the stream a bit earlier tonight because I woke up early to go to Glasgow with the guys at PA Scotland to do some activism, of course. So again, I'm not particularly too tired, but depending on how I am towards the end of the show, I might have the stream end a bit sooner rather than later. Like, so it might not be up to 2 hours, but again, it just depends on how I'm feeling. Maybe through the halfway mark, we'll definitely wait and see with that. Right then, so where to begin? I guess we can begin with the first article I'm going to be mentioning here, and then we'll move on to something that's been happening recently when it comes to the drag queen hour protests been going on, especially in amongst PA when it comes to the London branch. I think it's the London branch or it's the Eastern branch and the West Midlands branch. Again, I might be completely wrong saying that, but I definitely noticed the West Midlands had a protest going on. When it comes to London and Eastern, I'm not too sure if it was those branches, but again, it's to do with PA anyway, so they're definitely involved with that. So that I'll cover much later on. So let's get into the first article today. Now, this article, again, just like the article in the previous episode, was brought to my attention by English Rose, which again, I greatly appreciate that. And that's which is also something I did talk to her talk to them about it, which again I greatly appreciate it, because normally when it comes to every Mood of the Nation episode, I would find something to talk about maybe the day before or maybe the day of the stream, which I definitely don't want to do because I tend to be someone who looks into a particular topic or subject matter and maybe like kind of think through it a little bit more than kind of like do it on a whim type of idea. So with that being said, as much as I appreciate English Rose doing that, giving me these articles, I would also ask people in the chat who follow me on other platforms, say like Telegram and whatnot, if there's an article that piques your interest and you would like me to talk about it, then please just feel free to either message me about it or even post it in the comment section for like a recent post or whatever. I could definitely have a look into that, and then I'll see. It would be something like I could definitely talk about on the show, because again, I think that would greatly be very helpful for everyone to also kind of help me out when it comes to like other like topics to cover and whatnot. So, and it could be anything at all with that. If there's something you want me to talk about, or even any articles that pique your interest and you think it would be suitable for me to talk about, then by all means go right ahead and send me forward to them. That would greatly appreciate that. Anyway, enough talk. Let's get into the first topic. Now, this is the first one. That is a white pilling here. Hold on one sec. We'll try it again. I hear UK Rugby Association banned the trans males in the female rugby league. I think I've heard something like that recently as well, which again, you can see that's a white pilling moment right there. So that's definitely something that that's definitely like part of the theme of today's episode. Resisting the lies. I sent you all my CRT resources a while ago. Mind. Oh, that's right. Yeah, that could be a good idea for something to cover on the show. So I'll definitely look at that again and then see from there with that. That I could cover that for maybe again as like a specific a theme or a topic specific type of episode. So again, when it comes to CRT, I've covered it before, but maybe not like in terms of like a full episode about it. That would be interesting. So again, I can have a look into that. Thank you for putting that to my attention, DJ. Thank you very much for that. Anyway, let's have a look and see if I can get this up here. Here's the first white pill of today. Now get this, share the screen. Don't think I'll need my earphones because it's not like there's any videos or anything like that at all. So let's have a look at this. I'll also hide this, don't need that. Here we go. Now, this article was from the Sunday Times, and this was posted again fairly recently, in fact, actually 2 days ago, July 29th, 2022, and it reads, Tavistock Child Gender Clinic forced to close over safety fears, which again, that sounds like a very white pilling type of story. That this is off to a great start, I would definitely say, for today's episode, and let's have a look at this more further. A controversial NHS clinic that led the way in prescribing puberty blockers to children who question their gender is being shut down. Perfect. The Gender Identity Development Service at Tavistock and Portman NHS Trust will close next spring after a review found that it was not a safe or viable long-term option. The clinic in North London has been accused of rushing teenagers into life-altering treatment on hormone-blocking drugs. Legal experts said that the trust could now be sued by patients who felt that they did not receive the right treatment. Now, this is actually very white pill, and it's nice to see that people are definitely waking up to this in terms of this complete degeneracy with the complete. Mine's running blank. Sorry, what was I about to say with that? In terms of the deconstruction of gender and sex and all of that. So it's really nice to see that people are definitely waking up to this, especially when it comes to something like this. And I actually think it does tie into what I'm going to talk about much later on in terms of the Drag Queen Story Hour protests. That would be something that definitely ties into this as well. Let's have a look at this further. Care will be handed over to children's hospitals, which the NHS says will offer a more holistic approach with strong links to mental health services. From now on, under 16s will be given puberty blockers on the NHS only as part of a clinical trial, allowing data to be accrued, I think you pronounce it, sorry, on their long-term effects. If I don't pronounce it, my apologies. I do try. The Tavistock Clinic has been overwhelmed by a 20-fold increase in referrals in the past decade, leading to unacceptable waiting lists. More than 5,000 children were referred there last year, compared with 138 in 2010 to 2011. There's a lot more here. Disbanding it was praised as absolutely the right decision by the former Health Secretary Sajid Javid. It was also welcomed by other MPs, lawyers, and whistleblowers. The NHS decided to close the clinic on the recommendation of Dr. Hilary Cass, a pediatrician who is leading a review of the service. She wrote to health chiefs last week recommending an overhaul of treatment for trans children. Cass said there were critically important unanswered questions in relation to puberty blockers, which the Tavistock has prescribed to children as young as 10 years old. That's Jesus. I mean, I've heard stories about this in the past before when it comes to giving puberty blockers to children, especially as young as that. But from what I've heard, at least from what I remember, most of those stories tend to happen in places like, say, in America. I know it's quite prominent over there, especially if it's like done in very like liberal type of areas or like states or whatever. But something like that, again, is definitely happening over here, especially as young as 10 years old, getting puberty blockers. That's bad. I mean, it's definitely white pilling that something like this is being closed down because of like horrible, like very shady practices going on. But God, that's awful. How can I was just about to say, how the hell can anyone think that this is such a good thing to give, again, puberty blockers to children, especially as young as that? I don't know. I really would like to know who in their right mind would think this is such a good idea to do, to give a child as young as that, like, puberty blockers. I mean, it's just unbelievable. That's definitely child abuse. I know I've said this before, but that is also fucking child abuse. She said that there were uncertainties about the long-term outcome of medical intervention, and that brain development may be temporarily or permanently disrupted by puberty blockers. Yep. She wrote, "We cannot be sure about the impact of stopping these hormone surges on psychosexual and gender maturation. To date, there has been very limited research on the short, medium, or longer term impact of puberty blockers on neurocognitive development." Cass said there was a need to move away from a model of a single centralized service owing to a surge in demand. She called for regional centres focused on child health, bringing together services in mental health, autism, and hormone treatment. NHS England is accepting the recommendation in full and will establish 2 new clinics for children with gender dysphoria by spring next year. The first will be at Great Ormond Street Hospital in London, and the second will be a partnership between Alderhay Children's NHS Foundation Trust in Liverpool and the Royal Manchester Children's Hospital. Children being considered for hormone treatment will enter formal clinical trials and be followed until adulthood. Whistleblowers and campaigners have spent years raising the alarm about the Tavistock. Dr. David Bell, a former staff governor at the clinic, who in 2019 wrote an internal report that said it was not fit for purpose and which was suppressed, said the decision should have come sooner. Yep, I agree. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's great to see that this is finally happening. It's being closed down because of this. But he's right in saying it should have been done sooner rather than later. But that's definitely a good point there. Hold on 1 second. I'm just going to quit drink again. 1 sec. Can never really open this top bit for some reason. Anyway. I might as well just keep that open just in case. Anyway. He said, "I feel sorry for the children who have been at least neglected and at worst given the wrong treatment. And I'm sorry it has taken so long. I raised these issues in 2018, as have a lot of other people. The trust tried to subject me to disciplinary action. What has happened to all these children in the meantime? The decision was welcomed by lawyers for Kira Bell, who sued the Tavistock in 2019, saying it had rushed her into taking medication. Paul Conrath, I hope I again pronounced that right, a solicitor at Sinclair's Law, said he hoped that the decision marked a new chapter in treatment for vulnerable children. The Bell case had highlighted serious concerns that children as young as 10 were being prescribed powerful, life-changing medication. John McWhorter, president of the Association of Personal Injury Lawyers, said, "If the medical experts' view is that the treatment did not meet standards that the medical professionals would have set, then there is a potential for claims." The Royal College of Psychiatrists said, "Waiting times for children and young people seeking support from gender identity services are entirely unacceptable. Any action to reduce waiting times and bring these vital services closer to where patients live are welcome." The Tavistock said it appreciated how difficult long waits were for young people seeking treatment, and the new measures represented significant progress in expanding capacity. The outgoing boss of the failing NHS Gender Identity Clinic said he was proud of the service despite the damning Cass review. In an email to staff yesterday, Paul Jenkins, chief executive of the Tavistock and Portman NHS Foundation Trust, made no mention of any of the failings prompting its closure. And still more. 1 second, quick drink. I'm also really happy that the fact that it's very ideal for this episode because, again, the really nice weather just now. It was quite cloudy, and also it kind of did rain a little bit in Glasgow later on, but it was nice to see that today, at least up until this point, it's been really nice and sunny. It's also been pretty warm, so really good stuff. Anyway, let's have a look at this. In fact, let me just have a quick look at the chat and see what's been said here. Let's see here a minute. Just seeing a lot of. There's quite a. So because of today's, I would say, activism when it comes to PA Scotland. Hold on 1 second. Sorry, I'm just having a look at this. Maybe I can even let me see, show this on the screen, because again, we did some pretty awesome things when it comes to activising in Glasgow today. But I'll cover that in a short moment, or I guess I would say later on. That's fine. All right, cool. Let's get back onto this real quick. It remains unclear how long leaders such as Dr. Polly Carmichael, the Gender Identity Development Services, or GIDS, director, will remain in post, but Jenkins said the expertise that resides within the current GIDS service would continue to inform the new services. He wrote the current GIDS contract, however, it will be brought to a managed close in 2023. So next year. Not sure when exactly, but it'll be about sometime next year. There is no doubt this is a huge blow for our dedicated and resilient GIDS colleagues who have already been through so much in recent years, though there will be opportunities for them in the new services. And to quote them, I want to say again how proud I am of the service and of their hard work in caring for patients and engaging in a substantial transformation program in the last 2 years. This is incredibly difficult work in the most trying of circumstances. Jenkins, 59, is due to step down in September after 8 years as chief executive of the trust. The GIDS leadership has been accused of being unduly influenced by transgender campaign groups who ran internal support networks and weekend camps for young patients and their families. Let me see here. So I'm just going to get the chat open on my phone again just to see what's been said. Let's have a look here. There we go. Perfect. I was also going to say is the Tel Aviv clinic. Excellent. I was also going to say as well, Scottish CRT so needs all the exposure possible. Yeah, I'll definitely look into that much further, DJ, and I could definitely do like a episode specific about CRT. Because you're right, it's definitely something that needs to be covered as well. Ragnar Ironspear, real quick. Chief Bruni, how is PA Scotland doing? Are you growing in numbers? Apparently, we have a PA in Northern Ireland now. I would say with PA Scotland, we're still a very successful group. Well, I don't want to brag or anything like that at all, but I definitely see we're definitely growing in numbers. Again, more and more people are engaging in activism when it comes to PA Scotland. In terms of, say, stuff like leafleting, I would say the central branch in PA Scotland are the best. And I'm not saying this because I'm part of the central branch for PA Scotland, but if you look at the numbers, about the majority of the leaflets being handed out throughout Scotland is mainly within the central region of PA Scotland, which again is really good stuff, and I'm proud of that. That most of our leaflets are being sent to people within Scotland, are mainly from us in that case, which is really good stuff. So yeah, I would definitely say PA Scotland is still very successful. Again, more and more people are interested and, of course, coming along. So again, which is even with that, it's still really good stuff. I just also noticed something as well. Let's see if I can sort that a minute here. There we go. I never realized that until I looked at my phone, just so I can check to see the chat as well. Anyway, continue on from there. Where was I? I think it was about here. Susie Green, the chief executive of Mermaids, has no clinical qualifications, yet held regular meetings with the clinic's senior management. In 2007, she took her child, who was born male but identifies as female, to the US to receive puberty blockers unavailable in Britain, and to Thailand for genital surgery when the child turned 16. She campaigned for blockers to be prescribed by GIDS, and Mermaids was listed as a recommended resource of the GIDS website. in 2011. So she's basically a child abuser herself, I would imagine. I mean, from this. Yeah, because I can't remember that. That was covered on the news at one point. Like parents like these, if they want their child to go through, say, gender swapping or whatever the case may be, they would have to travel to like another country. Again, this being the US, and then of course for the actual surgeries, they would have to go to countries like Thailand to get that done. So, which of course is very fucked up beyond belief, and that's again child abuse because the child doesn't really understand the complete life changing changes that the child will be going through in this case. But again, we live in a time where it's 2022, it's the current year. Everyone has to be progressive and whatnot. And of course, if you're not part of the status quo, then of course you're a complete bigot. That's where we're at just now regarding to that. In 2011, Carmichael began a trial, quote unquote, of puberty blockers. However, before the results were back or any conclusions were reached, the clinic continued to send more children for the experimental treatment. Sarah Davidson, a senior consultant clinical psychologist at GIDS, is understood to have been listed as staff at Gendered Intelligence, another trans lobby group. Jeez. There's a lot of these like lobby groups going around, isn't there? I wonder. Again, this maybe looking a bit too deep into it, but I'm actually curious who would be running these types of groups. As I mentioned, these lobby groups. You know, really makes you think, doesn't it? Really makes you think. The nose says it all. Let me have a quick look again. Oh dear. Okay. Yeah, of course. They always have those same mad eyes. Yeah, yeah, I can definitely see with that. October's in the chat with us. How you doing? And also Toby Radley. Thank you very much for watching the show. Greatly appreciate that. Back to this real quick. In 2019, clinicians told the Times of their concern about activist influence on an NHS service. They claimed that young people appeared to have been coached on how to request hormone therapies. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised at that. One former clinician said the mermaid's narrative is everywhere within the service. Mermaids are always saying this is a matter of life and death. Would you rather an alive boy or a dead girl? All right. Mermaids denied that it had contributed to any of the problems that led of the clinic's closure. A spokeswoman said, "We welcome the news that NHS England plans to provide a more resilient and robust gender identity service in 2023 by expanding provision and improving the quality of care received by trans, non-binary, and gender diverse young people. We do have serious concerns with regards to the CAS review, and while optimistic, need to see that the care pathway provided is indeed a step forward." The LGBT charity Stonewall said, "We are pleased that on the basis of the interim CAS review, the NHS has acted decisively to address the unacceptable waiting terms faced by trans young people in accessing specialist gender identity related healthcare. The medical fates of so many vulnerable young people should never have been under the control of one single controversial clinic," the Lucy Bannerman writes. Or is it Lucy Bannerman writes? Bannerman. Again, I may be looking too deep into that, but to be fair, but anyway, the monopoly of the Gender Identity Development Service over the treatment of children and young people who identify as transgender has now been broken thanks to recommendations by Dr. Hilary Cass. The full scale of the damage it has done may never be known. For years, whistleblowers have been trying to raise the alarm that something had gone badly wrong at the North London clinic. However, the word transgender, quote unquote, had triggered a satellite service that operated beyond many of the standard NHS safety protocols. That special treatment, as Dr. Cass makes clear, led to those young people receiving worse care. The Tavistock and Portman NHS Foundation Trust's Gender Identity Development Services for Children and Young People, or GIDS, grew out of a small clinic that was founded in 1994. It became an NHS commissioned service in 2009, and in 2011, the new GIDS director, Dr. Polly Carmichael, began its first trial of puberty blockers, a type of hormones therapy that literally halts the development of children as a way of treating their gender distress. Before any research was concluded on the long-term impact of these drugs on a child's physical and psychological development, the clinic made the drugs more widely available in apparent response to increasing demand. See, this whole idea with the whole increase in demand, I mean, like, by who exactly? Like the kids? Again, I don't think the kids would be like demanding this. I think it's more to do with the parents forcing their kids to go through this type of shit. I mean, it would definitely make a lot more sense now, would it? So, see here. Here we go. Over the past decade, the service has been overwhelmed by a sudden increase in the numbers of young people in distress over their gender. No matter that, a significant proportion of these new referrals were on the autism spectrum or suffered eating disorders, or were in care or had complex histories of trauma or abuse. The GIDS leadership pursued an affirmative approach that critics said, in effect, treated a child's declaration that they were born in the wrong body as sacrosanct, or pronounce that right, and treated all their other complex problems through the prism of gender. Its unique status as the NHS's only gender identity clinic for young people in England, with a smaller satellite operation in Leeds, and its close relationship with transgender activist groups such as Mermaids and Gender Intelligence, conferred upon the clinic a cult-like status among many children and their families, who were desperate to get through its doors and secure referrals for the hormone therapies that many had come to believe would be the solutions to their problems. Dr. Carmichael even went on children's television, appearing on a CBBC program as Dr. Molly, and in effect advertising the service. That's pretty demonic, that, isn't it? I go on the CBBC, which of course is maybe aimed towards children, and talked about this on that platform. I mean, or channel, or whatever you want to call it. That's clinicians who questioned this approach were accused of being transphobic. Of course, to be accused of transphobic was surprise. Whistleblowers such as Dr. David Bell, a former staff governor, Kira Bell, who regretted her transition, Marcus Evans, a consultant, and his wife Sue Evans, a mental health nurse, and Sonia Appleby, a child safeguarding expert, all tried to raise the alarm in a hostile environment. There was an exodus of experienced staff from the service amid concerns that the clinic was sending young people down an experimental medical pathway towards irreversible cross-sex hormones without their informed consent and without adequate exploration of the other issues that might have been at the root of their unhappiness. Some of these children, the whistleblower suspected, were in the process of realizing that they were gay, but they claimed that the subject of sexuality was not adequately explored. When my investigation, and I'm assuming this is about the author of this article, when my investigation highlighting these clinicians' concerns was published by this newspaper in 2019, the protesters assembled outside the Times with placards denouncing my transphobic report. Trolls on social media told me to walk off a cliff. Yesterday, the trolls were remarkably quiet. Gee, I wonder why. By moving the care of vulnerable trans-identifying youngsters back into the NHS fold of mainstream children's hospitals and shifting the focus away from the interest groups obsessed with queer theory and back on to boring old things like evidence-based medicine and clinical research, Dr. Cass has done these children and their families a great service. Critically, she has also called for the appropriate service to monitor the long-term outcome of these patients. Arguably, the most shocking part of GIDS was that despite its supposedly pioneering approach in this brave new world of gender identity, it failed to keep accurate records of what happened to all these children it treated once they grew up. Well, I think we all know exactly what happened to those kids who have grown up, and is that they probably deeply regret their decision, and worst of all, they probably committed suicide because of that, because they realize, well, they can't, change back. This is definitely like a life changing decision. Um, of course, you could maybe say without really their proper consent, because it wasn't like really they knew exactly what was happening, but alas, that would be the reason for it in that case. The full impact of the GIDX experiment is yet to be known, and I think this is really all the stats happening with that as well. So that's pretty much it with the article. We'll have a look at this part real quick. Why are puberty blockers controversial? Let's have a look at this part. This may be important. The Tavistock Clinic started prescribing puberty blocking drugs in 2011 to children and young teenagers. They were used off-label to block the production of sex hormones and are intended to delay puberty. However, there has been barely any research into the drugs, including long-term side effects such as infertility. Cass said there is a lack of clarity over whether the drugs do simply pause puberty or if they act as an initial part of a transitioning pathway. She expressed concerns the drugs may temporarily or permanently disrupt the development of children's brains. Kira Bell, a 25-year-old who was given puberty blockers by Tavistock at the age of 16, launched a lawsuit against Tavistock, which said she rushed her into taking the drugs. In December of 2020, the High Court ruled the children under 16 lacked the capacity to give informed consent to the treatment, but this was later overturned. I'll come back onto this real quick, and there we go. Tavistock and Portman NHS Trust also ran training courses entitled "Whiteness: A Problem for Our Time" utter anti-white CRT. Well, there you go. That explains many volumes with that. Most of these kids are just depressed, angry, or lonely, and having a hard time. They don't need their genitals mutilated. No, I agree. I completely agree with that. I think that's like, you can even make an argument that's mainly like grooming behavior, because they see these kids, these like children or like young teenagers or like young teenagers going through a bit of a tough time with their lives, and they're not really too sure of themselves. So they think this will be a way to maybe try and get them to transition even more, which I think is completely sinister, because it's like taking advantage of them, like almost like in form of grooming for these kids, which is of course deeply sickening. I would say to that, deeply sickening. God, my throat is really parched. Sorry, one sec. Should be all right now. Anyway, I think that would be the end of that article just now, which was perfect. Right then. Okay, then. Yeah, that's the article. Again, thank you very much, English Rose, for sending the article itself to me to bring my attention to it, which is perfect. So we'll move on to something else entirely. Let's move on. I mean, I guess you could say it does tie into what we talked about with that particular article. Let's talk about what's been going on this past week with the Drag Queen Story Hour protests. Now, I've been somewhat paying attention to it here and there. I know that PA has been really involved with it. A lot of groups, in fact, within nationalism has been really involved in these protests. A lot of people, which again is really nice to see, that a lot of people are definitely waking up to it. They're definitely waking up to the fact that this is what's happening. Our children are being groomed by these complete, utter degenerates. And they're not having that. They're definitely not having it. And what I find absolutely funny with these protests is, of course, you have the counter protests. You have these Antifa types, the same types of people who stand for like liberal values and all of that. It's just, I mean, they would rather die on that hill, wouldn't they, of actually defending these absolute nonsense regarding to the the Drag Queen Story Hours. I really don't understand that. Well, I even find funny. I know people. I might put up like one video as an example, but maybe just in a couple of minutes' time. I've been watching these or reading through these posts, watching these videos of these protests, And I've always noticed one thing in common when it comes to Antifa showing up. They never really reveal themselves, don't they? They usually hide behind, sorry, excuse me, a COVID mask or like another like face scarf, whatever you call it, hoodies up and all of that. And whenever people trying to engage in a conversation with them and even ask them, why would you support something like this? A way of a form of grooming children. Like, why would you support this? And not a single one of them can respond back. The only thing they can do is throw out insults at the protesters and so on and so forth. Which, I mean, I always thought it was really funny that these would probably be the same exact people that would make fun of us for not really showing our faces on video, on live streams, or within articles or photographs taken for any Telegram posts for any of these pages. But yet you see all these videos of like members like PA, non-PA members who are also part of the protest as well, standing against this. Even they're not maskless or anything like that at all. They actually stand by their own principles. They stand by what they believe in, which is we want children to be left alone. And you see all these Antifa types who are just hiding behind their balaclavas and their COVID masks and whatnot, which I think really speaks major volumes, because I've always been told about these groups of people that they were supposed to be the good guys. They were supposed to be people who are on the right side of history, right? That's what I've been told. That's what you've been told. That's what everyone in our movement has been told. We're the bad guys. We don't really stand for our convictions or our principles. We hide behind masks and hide behind banners and all of that. But these very groups of people who say that, accusing us of doing that, can be easily applied on them, which is, again, incredibly funny. I also find it's really funny that some of these events had to be canceled because they fucking showed up, which, again, it really goes to show that even what Antifa were trying to do, which was trying to save the protests or whatever, but again, it completely backfired in their fucking faces, because the whole event, because they showed up, it had to be cancelled because of threats of violence or possible violence going on because of these thuggish lefty douchebags, which again is just absolutely funny with that. Hypocrisy is part and parcel of the left. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, everything, again, they accuse us of, it could be easily applied or thrown directly back at them. But that's them in a nutshell with that. And Trifa. Excellent. Right then. Okay. What I want to do now is I want to showcase some of the videos by PA, mainly West Midlands regional group. Again, I think London or maybe Eastern that were part of it. Again, I'm not entirely too sure, but a lot of our guys were involved in these protests, and it's really good to see that this is definitely catching a lot of people's attention, and also getting the message out there that we do not want this. This is grooming in the highest order. And we're taking a stand against this, whether these lefties or these libtards like it or not. So let's start off with, I'll get Twitter up because I noticed there's a lot of posts about that here. Oh, I've got that highlighted already. Perfect. I'll just get this up here in a moment. Again, please don't ask me how I'm still on Twitter. I honestly, I barely use it, to be quite honest with you. But I'll check my notification real quick. That would be the British Democrats who shared our nationalist fund. All right, fair enough. Perfect. That's fine. They shared my stream. All right then. So I'll just go through like a bit of going through this entire thread. See if I can find any particular videos I've watched a little bit earlier on, and then we'll kind of see from there with that. Chief Rudy, it was London and Eastern both teamed up, right? Because I did see that one video. I know Cornelius was there. I know Jody Kay was there. I think Barclay was also there as well. So that would explain why both London and Eastern were in the same event together. So that makes sense. Perfect. And as I said, there was another event by West Midlands. I know that as well. So let me see if I can get this up here real quick. So some of the posts are maybe a bit too spicy for the stream, but well, then again, I do agree with that nonetheless. Parents Against Grooming stand against drag queen story time, detailed below. Who? There's a pretty decent leaflet. I wonder if he was actually from, if I'm not mistaken. I'm Right. Let's have a look at this. Sorry, let me just. Oh, I was already sharing the stream. Excellent. Ralphie's in the chat with us. How you doing, Ralphie? Pia did great work on this. They certainly did. And the Woodlanders in the chat with us. How you doing? Thank you very much for watching the show. You see this. So the original post, Sergeant Pepper, 1964, child abuse. Principal promotes book on trans toddlers to kindergarteners. So that, of course, this is in America. For some reading the postmillennial.com, and of course more with that, retweet is what is their obsession with pushing this BS on our kids? Well, it's just child abuse, isn't it? It really is grooming child abuse. Let me see here. What the fuck is that? Jesus. What is our obsession with drag? Slightly concerning, right? Let's see. Here's a good one. Now that Stonewall has shown their true colors, we can collectively put an end to Drag Queen Story Hour. Can we collectively put an end to Drag Queen Story Hour? Seriously, why do grown men want to twerk and gyrate in front of children dressed like prostitutes? That's actually a pretty valid point, to be fair. Let's not forget the drawn and quartered part. Again, I can see that. Just think how many actual children's authors you could get to do this. An original post by Stella Creasy, I believe. Oh, what's her occupation? Labour and Co-op MP for Walthamstow. I hope I pronounced that right. Sitting on the sidelines as for Waldorf and Statler. If you like what I do, click here to see more. Yeah, no thanks. They write, what a lovely afternoon with Drag Queen Story Hour, Drag Story Hour UK today with the wonderful Greta, who put so much energy into storytelling and entertaining local children. Proud to that Walthamstow a community and that welcomes and celebrates Pride with the Morris Gallery in this lovely way. That's just fuck off. Turns against grooming. Show your opposition to sick and disgusting hashtag Drag Queen Storytime event taking place at the Mac Belfast. So it's happening in Belfast as well. Wow then. Let's see here in a minute. I've seen this video. I'll play it in a moment. Well done. Apex World News. UK, a mother barged into a drag queen story event and blasted the parents. I think I've seen this. This isn't like a long video, but this is a pretty base video. Like, take my hat off to the mother who confronted this and told the parents who are glorifying this or accepting this, telling them they're completely degenerate scumbags and they're going to burn in hell. Let's have a look at this real quick.
Do you know you just said wake up? I actually think you parents here need to wake up. This is child grooming what's taking place. And you should be ashamed of yourself.
Yes.
Every single parent in here should be ashamed of yourself for wokeism. It's disgusting. This is child grooming what's going on. Child grooming. Who knows what autogynephilia is? Who knows what autogynephilia is? Who knows what paedophiles are? Excuse me, what? Everyone here is an adult entity. No, listen, you're a child, you're allowing child grooming going place. Don't even think about touching me.
Oh, I mean that at the end where they got the fucking the brown guys, like the brown security guards. I mean that really that's just multiculturalism in a nutshell, isn't it? Jesus. But no, again, I take my hat off to the woman who's calling out this absolute degeneracy. It's absolutely disgusting what these children are actually going through. I mean, it's awful. And I think all the parents in that video who accept this and think this is an okay thing to do should have their children be taken off of them completely, because that's child grooming and that's complete child abuse. It's absolutely fucking disgusting. Just have a look at the time as well, real quick. We're actually at the halfway mark already. I cannot believe it's 6 o'clock just now. That's crazy to think. I guess time flies when you're having fun. That's why I normally say with that. Now, I'm pretty sure there's more stuff to cover here as well with this thread. I don't know if you want to call it a thread, but trans is mental health issue. Woke is not science. TERFs leave our kids alone. Oh, it's saying that to Blair White of all people. That's pretty base, to be fair. Yeah, fuck Blair White. I mean, Blair White can cope all he wants about. Oh, I'm a trans, but I'm against what's going on with the whole trans community stuff. How it's been forced onto people, including children. It's like, no, mate. Like, you can cope all you want, but at the end of the day, you can try and come off as like you're against all of that, but you're still part of the fucking problem, Blair. All right, fuck off. Anyway, utterly disgraceful organization by Stonewall. What exactly is Stonewall saying here? Let me have a look at this part just real quick. We imagine a world where all lesbian, gay, bi, trans, queer, questioning, and ace. The fuck's that mean? LGBTQ plus people are free to be ourselves. Hashtag take pride. That's fucking gay. Anyway, research suggests that children as young as 2 recognize their trans identity, yet many nurseries and schools teach a binary understanding of pre-assigned gender. LGBTQ inclusive and affirming education is crucial for the well-being of all young people. Why do young people need to be exposed to that kind of stuff at such a young fucking age? I mean, we've seen, I don't want to call it like studies or like research, but I mean, and it might be a bit of a different topic here, but it kind of ties into what I'm saying here. But I talked about this before when it comes to critical race theory, just going back to that real quick. In fact, I think it was myself and Joe talked about this on the show before. In fact, Joe did, I'm pretty sure, where he would talk about how children being exposed to critical race theory and all of that, how white kids especially are trained or are being taught to hate themselves, hate their culture, hate their history, hate their race and identity and all of that. But if it's a black children, then it's like the polar opposite. And the effects that leads for the white students is that it completely damages them. So I think with stuff like this, trying to teach this to children as young as, I would imagine, 3, 4, maybe 5 years old, I wouldn't be surprised if that would be damaging to them in the near future. But again, that's part of the whole fucking agenda now, isn't it? It's part of the whole fucking agenda. 92% of parents think that drag queens should have no place in children's education. I agree, and that's actually that right there is a white pill thing. That 92% of parents think drag queens should have no place in children's education, and that's great. At least there's some semblance of like a good sense of morality from parents. So it's nice to see that what's going on just now, that people are actually speaking out against this, which again is really good stuff. Is there any more? And if there's not really any more, I might move on to the stuff with PA Eastern / London and also a PA West Midlands real quick. Got this from an elementary school teacher. Hashtag leave your kids alone. It reads, anybody that discusses sexuality with kindergarteners is a predator, not a teacher. that I agree. Yeah, that I agree. Take your show still Creasy to the local mosques and see how you get on. Better still, the schools of Batley and Spen, hypocrite. Yeah, see, that's the funny thing, isn't it? Like, I think we're starting to see that this is affecting mostly white children. I mean, imagine this is being taught in a mosque or like children in a public school but has majority Muslim students. Oh, there'd be a fucking frenzy within the Muslim community because they don't tolerate this type of shit. Which, I mean, look, I'm not saying I don't hate Muslims nor am I like a fan of Muslims or anything like that at all. I don't think Islam has any room or business being part of Europe for that matter. But I'll take my hat off to them and say like, they actually do stand by traditional values. They don't want any of this degenerate shit being taught to their children, which I'll definitely give them that. I'll definitely give them that on that fact. Never once joining the dots. How many others? And she's a doctor. Feel free. Feel very sorry for the little one and mom to a certain extent. What was it saying here? So this is like an image of a Twitter post. How it started, Dr. Laura Lopez. She was happy to receive her Moderna vax. See her clapping after her shot in the pic. Plus, Nationwide Kids gave her a vaccine superhero cape. So it's like vaccine shit. Then how it's going. Have I not responded to your email? Here's why. 1 year ago, 1-year-old still sick, so sent back to ER. Test showed that she has COVID, a cold, salmonella, stomach flu, yeast, diaper rash, and impetigo. Hope I pronounced that right. All at once. I asked the doctor how that's possible, and she said daycare. It's all to do with daycare. I'm sure it has nothing to do with the vaccine that the baby or the child has received. I mean, that sounds just as bad as what's that fucking bullshit condition doctors are throwing for people who are healthy, normal adults, but they die after they had a vaccine, which again speaks major volumes. What was it, the condition they called it again? Is it sudden adult death syndrome? That's it. I mean, it sounds just as bad as that, but anyway. Anything else with this? 5 to 7-year-olds. Wait, what's this? Oh, it's not available. All right, well, what's the retweet? Oh, fuck. No, it actually does show it. Right. Let's have a quick look at this, and then we'll see the retweet in question. So this is, again, 25 to 30 seconds long. Let's have a look at this. Minnesota elementary principal promoted the book Jack, Not Jackie as summer reading for K2 grades. The book is about a toddler becoming transgender and cross-dressing. Jesus. They really are pushing this in front of our fucking children, aren't they? Let's have a look at this real quick.
On our shelves in the media center this fall. I've been doing some reading this summer, and so I thought I would share a couple of books because you have a little bit of time left to do some reading. I also read Jack, Not Jackie by Erica Silverman.
Wait a minute. The author of the book. What did she say just now? Who is the author of the book?
Phenomenal read by Erica Silverman. Phenomenal.
Well, again, hold on a minute.
Jack, Not Jackie by Erica Silverman.
Erica Silverman. That last name. Again, I might be, maybe it's just me looking way too deep into it, but Erica Silverman. Oy vey, I'll say that. Oy vey. Okay. Okay, then let's see here.
Phenomenal read. So if you're a K1, 2, 3 even, it's a really good read called Jack, Not Jackie. And I really enjoyed that, and I'm excited it'll be on our shelves in the media center this fall. I've been doing some reading this summer, and so I thought I would share a couple of books because you.
Okay, that's great. But no, just going back to the whole Erica Silverman. I mean, again, it just goes back to that, doesn't it? That again, there seems to be this like common factor with this propaganda being pushed into our children's faces, going through transitioning and whatnot. Being told that they should hate themselves and all of that. There kind of seems to be like a running, again, this might be me looking way too deep into it, or maybe me spouting my far-right conspiracy theories and all of that. But I just think it's rather too much of a fucking coincidence that the authors of these types of works, or who are promoting this type of stuff, would have the same similar surnames like Silverman, or Goldstein, and so on and so forth. Coincidentally enough, those are not very European sounding names, don't they? They sound very Israeli sounding last names, don't they? Which, I mean, again, might be. I do apologize if it sounds like I'm repeating myself here, but I just think it's just too much of a coincidence that they have those types of names, and they're pushing this type of agenda down upon us. Too much of a fucking coincidence, to be quite honest with you. So, 7 to 5-year-olds with that. And the retweet reads: parents of children in the Minnesota Public School District, go to your school board and demand this principal be fired. She is Stacy DeCourcy, principal at Excelsior Elementary School. Again, if I don't pronounce that right, my apologies. Sorry, just having a quick Nah, it's nothing right. That's fine. No worries. Okay, perfect. Time is it now? Just past 6:05. All right, fair enough. Fair enough. All right, then. What to do is let me just go back onto here real quick and then see what's being said in the chat again. And then what I'll do is I'll cover the stuff with PA and what they've been doing. I'll also even talk about what's been happening this morning when I was with PA Scotland, because we did. For the first time, we went out to Glasgow to do some activism for the upcoming Indigenous Peoples Day on the, was it the 7th or the 9th of August, if I'm not mistaken? I think it's either one of the two, or maybe the 8th. I'm not entirely too sure. Someone in the chat might correct me on that. Like, I'm pretty sure it was around about that time frame. But we did something that was going to be for that particular day. What I'm even also planning on doing is that, again, I'm still off from work at the moment. So I'm going to be going out for like walks and whatnot. I got a drawing board. Well, it's not like a board. It's kind of like a book. So if you've ever done art and design, or if you ever went to college to study art in any way, shape, or form, you would get these like art pads or art books, so that it has blank drawing pages, white, of course. And if you want to draw something for your art project or whatever, you just draw on it. So what I'm thinking about doing is I'm thinking about writing White Lives Matter. And I'm going to take some photographs with that and do some, like, maybe in front of statues or in front of like scenery type of photographs. I'm not entirely too sure how it's going to be done, but that's an idea I have going on at the moment. And I'm going to do that tonight with the book, with the drawing pad. And then we'll definitely see whether it be maybe tomorrow, maybe Tuesday. I'm not entirely too sure of when I'll be available to do that. Because that's something... Because the thing is, what I should have done last year for Indigenous Peoples Day, I've seen a lot of people, even though they're part of like PA, they're part of like group work, activism, and all of that. There's some people within PA that do their own types of what's the word I'm looking for? Like sending in their own what's the word I'm looking? Sending in like their own photographs that they've taken themselves. So I really want to do something like that as well on my part. So anyway, I think there was a question by Sensum Communum in the chat. Hello, Sensum. Thank you very much for watching. I don't know if it's a question, but let's have a look and see what you're writing in the chat, sir. Chief Moody, it's like that transhumanism advocate, Yuval Noah Harari, early life. Yes, he pushes that shite. And you wonder why, and you wonder why, and then you hear Harari has a husband, and then you know why. Well, there you go. Yeah, definitely. Definitely want to have more look into this as well. Chief Rudy, Yuval Noah Harari is one of the WEF's young leaders, quote unquote. I'll definitely have a look into that, because that's again news to me. Let me see if I can write that in my notes. And again, do some more research into that as well, especially when it comes to, I'm assuming it's the World Economic Forum for WEF. Yeah, that sounds like it. So let me type in Yuval Noah Harari. And if I don't pronounce that name right, again, my apologies. I might not be the master of pronouncing things, but I do try. You can't blame a guy for trying with that. So let's have a look here. Why the hell is my throat so fucking parched? I mean, I've been drinking water. You think maybe that might be helping it, but indeed not. Hold on a sec. Sorry, there's guys in within PA Scotland are talking about today's event, because it was actually a lot. It was a great success on our part, definitely. Oh, that's good to hear. Right, let's see. Yeah, okay. Yep, that's all right. Perfect. All right, okay. Perfect. Might even also show us something later on. I hope they don't mind me showing this for like with different activism. Well, I'll start off with the drag queen story stuff, and then I'll talk about today's event. Adam Miller in the chat. Hello, Adam. Thank you very much for watching the show. you've got a new Ferrari. Yeah, I think it sounds a lot like Ferrari, like Ferrari, right? Okay, that's fine. He is the one leading the WEF's transhumanism. He talks about hacking the human genome. Oh, I see. Oh, yeah, I'll definitely look into that much further. Ralphie is in the chat again. It's racist for a white man to pronounce a non-white person's name wrong, so I'm told. Right. Well, I don't really care whether or not if it's racist or not. I mean, that's just the way it is, isn't it? So I mean, there we go. Right then, let's move on to PA stuff. More specifically, what's been going on with the PA Drag Queen Story Hour again, because there's a lot of good stuff that came out of this week with from PA West Midlands, PA Eastern, and PA London. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up pages. I think the official PH the official PA channel on Telegram. See if I can get this up here. 1 second. That's to do with the PA book club tonight. But again, I'll post the links later on and see from there. So what I'll do is I want to do it in chronological order and maybe go down from there. Hold on 1 sec. Yeah, I think it's probably best to do that. What I'll do first is I'll do it in like chronological order, and then we'll get to the current stuff, what's been going on. So let me start off with. I hope I'm not going past it. 1 second. I know PA Wales has been doing a lot of stuff with Drag Queen Story. Let's start off with this. Let me see if I can share the screen yet again. 1 second from Sense of Communum again. Chief Moody, Yuval Noah Harari is the bloke who advocates for the development of mind control. Oh, mind control tech. And he's part of that tribe. Interesting. And that the plebs should be contained with VR entertainment and Happy Pill's Brave New World. Ah, I see. Well, again, that speaks on itself, doesn't it? Like again, the same groups of people who are pushing this type of agenda down our throats, and they want this to happen for the near future or the new world, they call it. Really makes you think, doesn't it? Really makes you think. Anyway, let's start off with. I'll see if I can get to share the screen again. We'll start off with this. Let Kids Be Kids. This is from, of course, Patriotic Alternative. Let's see. Crew Library, Lifestyle Center, Crew, Wednesday, July 27th, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Protect Our Children. Drag Queen Story Hour is an event organized by the self-styled trans rights activist Sab Samuel with the aim of poisoning the minds of our children. It will be taking place at a local library in Crewe. On Wednesday, the 27th of July, Patriotic Alternative will stand in opposition to this man who has his sights set on the innocent children of Crewe. We invite you all along to stand with us against this immorality and degeneracy. And of course, you want to get in touch with the library itself. There's the email. Oh, no, sorry. Is it the website? More dates. This could be fine. I'm actually curious if there's any dates here in Scotland, because I know there's been dates within England, Wales. I'm not too sure about Northern Ireland, but let me see here a moment. Rochdale Council, Somerset Libraries, Leeds, Cardiff, Bristol, Cornwall, Brighton and Hove, Bolton, Bexley, Reading, Wokingham. No, nothing Scotland, which is quite bizarre because you think maybe this would be. See, the funny thing is when it comes to Scotland, as I mentioned, is tend to be a lot more, say, liberal than England. So whatever England does, we do like the polar opposite. So you think something like that would be a lot more accepting up here, and that we would, well, at least the progressive types here in Scotland would want something like this up in Scotland as well. But apparently not. Apparently that's it's too far of a distance, or whatever the case may be. Good afternoon, English Bulldog. Thank you very much. Well, technically it's now evening since it's past 6 o'clock. But again, thank you for watching the show nonetheless. Appreciate you being here. English Sailors with us as well. How you doing? Thank you very much for watching. Cal Saxon. Can't wait for them to come to Essex. Well, I mean, don't know when that will be, but I mean, I wouldn't be surprised with that. Yeah, again, Samuel noticing patterns. Yeah, I'm noticing that as well. To be honest with you with that, but Scotland is run by a nationalist party. It's not a nationalist. They claim to be nationalist, but they're anything but nationalist. Drag queens burst into flames at the border. I mean, yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised to be fair, but I mean, Scotland tries to be as a welcoming and inclusive country, but shen on the native population being the white Scots. But anyway, I think Harari wrote a book about how we should all live in plastic boxes and eat insects. I mean, I can imagine the insects part because that, or even eating the bugs part, because that's been pushing the general public for fairly recently as of late. I've seen some videos by these celebrity types like Kim Kardashian or anyone like that at all, pushing this idea of, oh yeah, eating bugs is actually pretty good. I mean, we can imagine they don't fucking eat bugs. Like they're like they're tools of the fucking establishment. They would never like eat stuff like that. It's only just used as tools for us to like the common folk. Basically telling the common folk, oh, it's okay to eat bugs. I mean, take it from me. I'm Kim Kardashian. Check out the size of my fucking arse. But let me see here. Hamza will save Scotland. Holy fuck. He'll fucking burn it to the fucking ground the way he's been acting when it comes to it. Well, I mean, we all know his fucking speech regarding to that. It's too cold for mini skirts over the border. I mean, again, I wouldn't be surprised if that would be the case. I've never seen a Muslim or Jewish drag queen. Gee, I wonder why. There's only a few thousands of them. Let's put them in cages and feed them big the cunts. Again, I can see that with that. Oh yeah, they're good to continue on where English Sailor left off with this comment. Can't stand him. He has a brother as well. Oh, I see. Dan did not. How you doing? Thank you very much for watching the show. I have Abu Hamza head out on another end of my road. Hook hands. I'd see him in dress and makeup. Oh dear. Roy Herbert, do Scottish drag queens wear kilts? I wouldn't imagine so because again I mean like even when I was up in Glasgow or this morning, I mean there was quite a few like gay bars that were going around with of course the current LGBTQ flag flying around next to his Ukrainian flag, which I mean no fucking surprise there. So I've not seen any drag queens or anything like that at all, but no, I don't think they would wear kilts. Because technically speaking, they're already wearing a fucking skirt anyway, because they're a man pretending to be a woman, or vice versa, a woman pretend to be a man. No, only men wear kilts. That's true, Callus. That's very true. Yes, only men wear kilts. 4x2 is posing as whites. Yep. Ralphie again. Chief Rudy, is it true that you can get a kilt pattern to match your surname in Scotland? Yes, that is definitely true. I think from what I remember, it goes back to the old clans. So each Scottish family name or like surname has their own kilt color because it's part of the the family name type of idea. Now I can't remember what my family's color is, but if I were to have a kilt, of course, in honoring my family's last name, I would go with that because again, it's part of the whole coloring scheme kind of idea with that. So that's lovely history and culture. Yeah, indeed. Yeah. To match your clans. Yeah, that's correct. Yes, that's the whole point of it with that. Yes. Where was I? Yeah. So let's just continue on from there with the PA stuff with the drag queen story hour. Let's go back onto here. So that was that original post. More days, of course, we went over that already. Articles. Our anti-drag queen story hour leaflets meet the news, which that is true. Yes, so I think this is where it first starts, where it gets first started with a lot of like good publicity. Because look, as we said before, any publicity is like good publicity. So yeah, it was good to see that this was getting a lot of attention. I mean, all of these trannies can like cope about, oh well, in fact, let's have a look at the article first. I'll try to be as brief as I possibly can, and then we'll continue on where we left off from there. Drag queen fights back at attempts to stop him reading to children in Cornwall. Sab Samuel, Jewish sounding name, won't allow protesters and hate-fueled right-wing leaflets stop him regarding to children across Cornwall. Well, of course, it's not really going to stop him because he's earning fucking money regardless. See, this is the funny thing, isn't it? I do know that most of these events, because again, Joe talked about this on not just on my show, but he talked about this on the PA month streams, if you want to call them, from time to time. Talked about how I believe they're like tax funded, if I'm not mistaken, and of course he would earn. Well, he and all these other drag queen people would earn quite a huge sum of money, like per day. I think with Sam Samuel, I don't know if this is the same for Sam Samuel or anyone else doing this type of degeneracy, but they were earning about, what was it, like 400 or 450 pounds per day or something like that, which I mean is crazy. It's absolutely just insane amount regarding to that, and the fact that like they're coping about, oh, well, I'm not going to let these like far right like stopping me from doing this. Well, of course, because at the end of the day, you're doing it because you're a fucking pedophile and you're doing it for the fucking shekels. If they weren't doing it for the shekels, I guarantee you they would not be doing that. Guarantee you they would not be fucking doing that. I'll have a quick look at the article and then we'll move on to something else, because I know we're actually getting very low length of time at the moment. And also just to mention as well, real quick, if you are enjoying today's episode, please hit the like button, subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already. If you would like to support me financially or contribute to my work, you can always donate to me through Ko-fi, or follow me on there as well, or even through PayPal directly. Please don't feel obligated that you have to do that. It's only there as like an option. If you want to support me financially through those links, you can if you want to, and if not, again, that's completely fine to do so. I'm not going to lose any sleep if you don't donate to me or anything like that at all. It's only there as like an option. Like it's entirely up to yourselves if you want to donate or not. So anyway, just one quick second, and then we'll continue on from there. God, my throat is really parched at the moment. A drag queen who runs book reading sessions for children in libraries has hit back at hate-fueled leaflets trying to block his events in Cornwall next month. I keep saying, I think it's Sam Samuel, but it's Sab Samuel, who performs as Ada HD, had to be escorted out of Reading Library at the first day of his tour yesterday, Monday, July 25th, when it was stormed by protesters. Mr. Samuel is part of Drag Queen Story Hour UK, which provides fun and interactive kids shows with amazing and talented drag performers, but performers that wants to show the world that being different is not a bad thing, and by providing imaginative role models for children to look up to, we can change the world book by book. To quote him. Among the books he reads as Ada HD are classics such as We're Going on a Bear Hunt, as well as his own book about bullying, The Three Goats United, and others celebrating diversity. Interesting when it comes to The Three Goats United. Again, this is something brought up all the other streams. You'll notice that from what I've been told about The Three Goats United, it's clearly like an anti-white propaganda. So you have the pink goat, which I'm assuming is meant to be representing the LGBT community. You have the black goat, which is supposed to be representing the black community. And finally, you have the brown goat, which is supposed to represent the Muslim community, I would assume or imagine. And the villain of the book is supposed to be a white wolf. I don't know if it's maybe like a white wolf or something like that, but it's white nonetheless. Which again, if sorry, excuse me, if that's not supposed to implement that or indicate to anyone that we live in an anti-white society, I don't know what the fuck else can convince you at this point with that. I mean, it's not even subtle in any way, shape, or form. It's literally right in your fucking face about it. Right in your face about it. What else? Again, I want to try and get this article done as quickly as I possibly can. I wonder if I'll get to the part where it mentions PA, because that's the, I would definitely say the highlight of this article. Or maybe just talks about the leaflets in general with that. Hold on. Control F. Patriotic. Here we go. Alternative. Effect. 1 out of 1. A resident of one of the towns contacted Cornwall Live after seeing a leaflet which is being distributed in the areas hosting the drag queen. The leaflets produced by British far-right white nationalist group Patriotic Alternative suggest that Drag Queen Story Hour should be stopped as it's another attempt to sexualize children by the Marxist establishment. The resident called the content homophobic and hate-fueled. Yes, it's hate-fueled and homophobic to call out degenerate bullshit behavior and trying to groom children. Yes, how dare we do something as noble as that, of actually wanting kids to be kids and want them to be left the fuck alone? How dare we do that? How dare we go against the status quo that is having drag queens grooming our fucking children? How dare we? How fucking dare we? Well, that's that. So again, I'll try and keep that as short and sweet as I possibly can. And that was it for when it comes to that article. So there we go. PA are starting to live in the enemies' heads, rent free. Good. Yep, definitely with that. Rigor Mortis is in the chat with us. How you doing, Rigor Mortis? Thank you very much for watching. They write. I remember him doubling down after he found out the owners were foreign as well, but that's about it. Well, there we go then. There we go. The goat with a Muslim attached to its arse represents the Muslim community. Well, there we go then. There we go. Deep goat. I can't mind. I need to check what happened with Hamza trying to sue that nursery. I actually have no idea. There never really was any updates with that. So I wonder if maybe that was something that deeply backfired on Hamza's part. Because I guess you would imagine, because the whole thing was he tried to sue Hamza Yusuf tried to sue the nursery, claiming to be racist towards his children and whatnot, and expected that the owners of the nursery to be white. But it turns out that the owners were actually of Indian descent. Maybe they were brown. I don't know if they were Indian descent or maybe they were Pakistani or whatever, but. I guess, and Hamza Yusuf claimed he was going to sue them, but I guess maybe he found that out afterwards, so maybe it fucking backfired on him. But I don't know. There never really was any updates with that whatsoever. So, yeah, there we go. £450 for an hour's degeneracy, plus a police escort. Yep, there we go. There we go with that. Favorite Hamza moment is when he fell off his electric scooter and face planted into the ground. That was pretty funny, that. Karma can be a bitch. But anyway, let's have a look at this. Right. Okay. Well, okay. Let's go back on to... Oh, a bear in gay culture represents a big, hairy gay man, scantily clad, muscular man, her suit with a big beard, etc. All gays know this. The readers of the Bear Hunt book, Dan, know it. Or sorry, do know it. Right, fair enough. Oh, they were Hindu, right? Okay, so, all right, Hindu, right? That makes sense. In fact, that actually does ring a bell, saying that, because I remember I did cover that on the show before. So yeah, there were Hindus, right? There we go. Okay, let's get back onto this. So we now get back onto. So that was that article. Let's have a look and see the next part. Mark talked about the camp as it did represent as an ethno state, which was really good stuff. We'll start with this. This is from West Midlands. Yeah, West Midlands, yeah. Today, patriarchal alternative activists were at the forefront of a protest outside Crewe Library. We were joined by concerned members of the public, many of whom had found out about the protest from our leafleting the weekend prior. We were protesting against Drag Queen Story Hour, which is being funded by taxpayer money. Sorry, there we go. Throughout the protests, our activists were engaging with the locals and handing out leaflets to raise awareness of how the council is spending local money. The vast majority of the locals we spoke to agreed with us. They too were disgusted at the state-funded grooming of our children. Video coming soon, which has been posted today, or maybe it was yesterday, but I'll get that video up in a short moment here. PWR, let's have a look and see, get to the current stuff. So this is from West Midlands as well. Now, I think this is entirely different. This is not to do with the Drag Queen Story Hour. Again, I know people might have seen this already, but this is about the housing of potential housing of migrants, but that was completely not disagreed on, but it was. I'll read the post here. Yesterday evening, Patriotic Alternative activists attended a Stafford Borough Council Planning Committee meeting. The meeting was regarding the plan to house over 500 refugees in a building that used to be student halls. The facility is a quarter of a mile away from two schools. Our activists stood shoulder to shoulder with the other locals at the meeting to oppose the asylum centre. Thankfully, the plans were rejected by the committee, a decision which caused an uproar of excitement and celebration from the locals in attendance. Circle will most likely challenge this and continue their push to replace locals in their own towns and cities. We at Patriotic Alternative will continue to oppose such measures. I can't speak tonight. Sorry, measures. This is community politics, indeed it is, and we'll have a short look at a short clip, and then we'll see if we're there with that. Again, really good stuff here. Let's see with this and more.
Application's been refused.
Yeah.
Get in there! Get in there!
Based stuff, excellent stuff. So that's Circle getting to fuck. Anyway, let's have a look at this more. Is this from? That's from the Northeast, but they've done really good stuff, especially with the homelessness initiative. I'll even cover that in a moment here with that. PA Fitness Club. These are the people that hate us. Look at what they represent: ugliness, laziness, hatred, and jealousy. These misguided and unfortunate people who are blinded by their solipsism. I have never even heard of that word before. Believe that we are evil because we seek to embody beauty and the transcendence of our ideals. They are against us because they wish for everyone to remain low at their base level. This isn't what Patriotic Alternative is about. We are about uplifting ourselves, each other, our communities, and our country. Indeed. Let's have a look at these fine specimens, shall we? Jesus fucking Christ. Like, look at that. Like, these are the people that oppose us. I mean, look at them. Do you actually take these absolutely, just seriously? Like, look at this. Like, they're the types of people you would see in like normal people on the street, and you would look at them and think, wow, that cat has some serious fucking character flaws right there. It's shameful. And they want to turn around and say that we're the bad people and they're supposed to be the better, like, moral busybodies or whatever. It's a fucking joke. Anyway, continuing from there. PA Gaming represents phasmophobia. That's great, guys. Okay, Wells, again, good stuff. Doing letter picking, I believe, which again, really good stuff. Here we go with Northeast. I'll just mention them real quick. Today, activists were out in Newcastle helping to feed the homeless. We encountered many homeless on the streets, and today all were our folk. This is a travesty considering the number of hotels being used in Newcastle to accommodate economic migrants. If you would like to help out and raise awareness, please get in touch at northeast@patriarchalternative.org.uk. And there we go. Excellent stuff. Again, it's not the first time they've done this. They've been doing this for quite a long while now, which again is really good stuff. It's really nice to see that they're actually helping out our people who are homeless at the moment, which again, it's still really good stuff with the homeless initiative, especially with Northeast. I also want to mention as well. I won't mention any names because I know they're not necessarily public figures, but I do know a couple of people from a couple of people who are part of the Northeast region who are expecting a baby. Which I want to say I've said to them through posts already, but of course I don't know if they do watch the show, but of course I want to mention like congratulations to them for expecting a child. Again, really good stuff with that. So it's nice to see that there's definitely more members joining in with Patriotic Alternative, especially amongst like couples, which again is really good stuff and very white pilling, I would say to that regarding to that. Again, congratulations on that. I won't name their names because I know you're not necessarily public figures, so at least to my knowledge, so you know who you are. Congratulations once again, members of the couples expecting this baby within the Northeast region of PA. So congratulations once again. What else? PA Wales activists delivered 350 Stop Drag Queen Story Hour leaflets. Excellent stuff. Here's one by Jodie K. This was quite funny, this one. So Drag Queen Story Hour with Ada HD and Jodie K. Not only is he being paid per venue, but there were around 12 to 14 police officers there, also paid for by us, by the taxpayers. Yes. And here's one from PA London. They were at a protest as well. Have a look at these photos. PA London activists were joined. Oh, fuck me. Sorry, by PA Eastern activists and Southeast at Welling, Crayford, and Bexley Libraries today as we protested the Drag Queen Story Hour. We had a lot of support from passers-by. One in particular was shot at the council's priorities, expressing disgust at how mainstream churches have not stepped up to oppose the agenda. There we go. So really good stuff. I actually also like some of the signs that were developed for this. There was one I think Sam posted in his Telegram page where it was that sign there with Patriotic Alternative. There was another sign they made where it says learn ABCD, not LGBT, which I actually thought was really clever. So hopefully more of those will be printed and can be used a lot more. I kind of like this photograph because it just shows the complete virtue signaling from these progressive cunts. So you have RPA members, of course, with their banner, Leave Our Kids Alone by Patriotic Alternative. And you got someone, again, not really showing their face, and they would mock us for that, holding up the tranny flag because they're showcasing how progressive they are. It's just, it's a complete. There's another one of the same situation where, but this woman turns around and trying to like hide who the group is, but people can clearly see that it's still Patriotic Alternative. In fact, even in that same photograph, someone was holding the PA sign or the sign that reads Patriotic Alternative. So even this virtue signaling right here, trying to hide who this group is, they failed completely miserably, absolutely fucking miserably. Sorry, excuse me. That's that there. Yeah.
We got some ultra.
So let's have a look at this real quick. Territorial support group. Let's have a look at this real quick.
We got some ultra right wing racists over here. Should we go and chat to them?
Yeah, they're large. And stand up.
British people. I'm not necessarily, I can probably go on a day, but... Do you mind if I bend you in for a minute and stand up there? Your best choice is to old man Nick.
Yeah, smart chat.
Back onto that one a minute. 1 second. The source of the video in this case was from Control Not Political, I think the channel's called. They're actually the same content creators who were at another protest. I think it was this year or maybe the year before, where they went around with like a short survey to ask the people who are in support of housing these migrants and whatnot. And the guy who was interviewing some of our guys was going around with the survey asking these protesters, "Oh, would you be happy to house some of these migrants into your homes?" And the majority of those people were like, "Oh, I would house them, but I just don't have enough room. I don't have, or I'm renting at the moment, and all of that other BS." Yeah, it's from that channel, which again is actually pretty decent stuff. There was that woman I talked about. Again, this is something entirely different, but still really good stuff. Patriarchal. I can't say it every time. Patriotic Alternative Northwest today welcomes several new members to the group with a social meetup in Manchester City Centre. We enjoy food and drinks at a city centre restaurant, followed by 2 banner drops in the city centre. That's really good. Really good stuff. Yep, there we go. Like White Lives Matter. Yes. Oh, that's why I was talking about that that image there. Just like, what's even the point? Because again, one of our guys was holding a sign. Well, 2 of our guys were holding these signs that it still reads Patriotic Alternative anyway. So what was even the point exactly? It just virtue signaling on the highest scale. Here's another video. This was the one that was uploaded today by West Midlands regional group. So let's have a look at this together, shall we? And then we'll see from there.
It's Drag Queen Story Hour.
Or Drag Queen Story Hour. Drag Queen Story Hour.
The Drag Queen Story Hour.
I didn't think of myself as an activist until I started doing Drag Queen Story Time.
Something you might be concerned about, miss. Thank you very much.
Beast.
Hello. Just something you might be concerned about, luckily. Thank you very much.
Beast.
Hello, sir. Sorry, just something you might be concerned about. Thank you very much. Something you might be concerned about, sir. Thank you.
I don't know why, but see, when the guys were handing out the leaflets to some of those members in the general public, I don't know why, but I just think of the for those who've played Call of Duty, like especially multiplayer, whenever you hit someone like when firing at them, they would come up like the hit marker and the sound effect with the hit marker. So every time they hand out a leaflet, the person accepts the leaflet, it's like a hit marker kind of a thing. But I don't know, maybe that's just me, but that's what I tend to think of when it comes to that. But anyway, moving on from there.
In your local library, this man who's dressing up as a woman is inviting children to read them stories and generally teach them about perverse, disgusting stuff. In your library, in Crewe Library, in a public building, this man is inviting school children and essentially trying to poison and rot their minds. Who's dressing up as a woman and inviting young kids to, so we can come and teach them about stuff they really shouldn't know about.
Did we see what Castile?
Well,
one of those sex pictures?
pretty much. And he's coming here, and your library, which isn't even open, it's not even open most of the week. But for him, when he comes along, it's open.
Yeah.
So funded by your money, and it's not open for you to use its services.
For him it is.
For him, it is absolutely. Yeah. It's shut now.
And that's him who's trying to be.
That's him. Yeah. And he's doing a tour across the whole country, teaching kids this kind of film. Exactly. And we are going to be a minority by 2066, and that's something we stand against. This isn't the only leaflet we have. London, Birmingham. Point. That's the whole point. It's because they're naive and they can get in there and poison their minds.
Yeah.
So then they can become exactly. So they can become like him. That's what they want.
I'll get on this.
Yeah, great. Yeah, absolutely. Well, what it is, that's our organisation, Patriotic Alternative. And we obviously stand against stuff like this.
Yeah, good, yeah.
There we go. Oh, more of it. So just real quick, again, it's nice to see that even the locals within that area are actually agreeing with not just the leaflet, but what our guys are saying just now, which again is a very white pill thing with that. Because I think one of the best things when it comes to activism is that you can talk to people, especially when it comes to stuff like that. Now, it might depend on the circumstances or the situation. Sometimes that might be coming up to you out of curiosity, or sometimes it might be confronted you. But as long as you stay calm and collected, and you stand by your principles and you stand by what you believe in, believe it or not, like the people you're talking to, you know, they actually do respect you a lot more for that, because you're not cucking to you're not really cucking because you're caving into their like emotional way of saying it, or whatever the case may be. But I think the point what I'm trying to make here with that, something what we just seen there, is it's important to have that conversation, and hopefully more people will jump aboard and maybe become members of Patriarchal Alternative, even if they don't become members of PA. At least they've been made aware of it, and even they could do their own further research into it. Maybe after that they can join PA or even any other nationalist group out there for that matter. I mean, like, there's many options going on at the moment here, but it's nice to see that even just a conversation like that it definitely is waking a lot of people regarding to the degeneracy we're facing just now. Anyway, let's continue on with that. It's only just another couple of minutes, or a couple of seconds, I should say, and then we'll go on with that. Even Tifa showed up. Like, yeah, 3 of them. There we are. There we are. Good stuff. Good stuff. Was there more? Was there something I'm missing out? I don't think there is, but I just want to double check and see. There's about my show. PA Wales. PA Wales activists visited Caerphilly Castle, Caerphilly, I hope I pronounced it right, Welsh, in South Wales today. They, of course, dropped a banner or two whilst they were enjoying the site. Excellent stuff. Excellent stuff. Oh, this would be a perfect seg. So that's to do with like West Midlands, PA Eastern, PA London, and of course Southeast. I think they helped out as well. Really good stuff from those guys, especially West Midlands. Really good stuff to bring awareness and trying to actually make a stand against this. So I think what people in the chat, what you can all do for me, if you can, if you could put in a big 14 for all the regional groups involved of standing up against this type of degeneracy, being West Midlands, London, Eastern, and Southeast. And also a big 14 for Northeast and I think Northwest as well for that banner drop, and also Wales. I think they deserve a big 14 for that just now, so let's give them that. And then whilst we do that, this would be a perfect segue into today's activities and with PA Scotland. So what I have here is a post about that, and I'll show you some of the images, which are brilliant. We'll have a look at that just now. So to kick off our activism for Indigenous Peoples Day, PA Scotland hit the streets of Glasgow and placed placards on statues at various locations across the city. Afterwards, a banner was held over the M8, which received plenty of support from passing motorists. So this is where I'll get into the images here. So that's one. And the placard, in case you're wondering, the placard reads "White Lives Matter." So that's one as an example. There's the next one. Some of these photographs are actually pretty decent. I think there's going to be footage of this coming out. I'm not entirely too sure, but I also can't wait for that as well at some point. Again, if there is going to be video footage, but we'll see. White Lives Matter. Yeah, there's another one as an example. I also love this one in particular, especially when it has People Make Glasgow, because again, something like this right here, like it's trying to make this argument like People Make Glasgow in terms of like a modern day context. Say it's about like like the whole migrants built Glasgow or some gay shit like that. It's almost like a bit of a contrast, like the status quo, and then and it's like the non-status quo, like this would be like, I can't believe people are putting this up on these statues here, the White Lives Matter. Anyway, there's another one, White Lives Matter. This was at the what was the name of the street again? I'm sure people might have been there before. Maybe they've seen it through like footage or photographs. It's quite an iconic area in Glasgow. This is where you had the cone head, where it would be placed on top of the statue on the head, like just around about here. I can't remember the name of the street. I'm sure someone might name it in the chat. But it's quite an iconic area. This is the cone. I'll even showcase the video in a moment if you guys want to. The cone, it wasn't the traditional orange or white cone. It was like some kind of, I don't even know if it was like multicolor, but it was kind of like a LGBT type of cone on top of it. But it was like a pink dragon or whatnot. I can't remember quite well with that. But we took that off first by just poking at it, and then hopefully it would just get taken off the statue, which of course thankfully it did, and we replaced that with White Lives Matter, which was pretty based. And there's a banner drop at the, I believe that's the City Hall, if I'm not mistaken, in George Square, which was the same location as the first two photographs we've just seen, and that's the banner reads, of course, White Lives Matter. Impressive, really good stuff, which I was really happy with today. Of course, I'll be honest, I was a bit nervous about it because we're actually going into the city centre, we're in George Square and all of that. And even this morning, there was quite a lot of people, but even then, there was no any bother or anything like that at all. Everything went smoothly, which was quite surprising. But anyway, there was another one of these that was just posted just now. Let me see if I can get that up real quick, and then I don't want to forward that. 1 second. 1 second here. We'll see if I can find. Let me see here. Again, this is from PA Scotland. Again, this was posted just now. So what I've just showed you with the first post from PA Scotland with today's activities, I would say that's part one. Here's part two of that post. So let me have a look at this real quick. Sure that, and then I'll get to the video in question about the cone being removed, which was pretty based. It was like, yeah, we did that. It was awesome. Oh, was it sharing already? Crap. All right, okay, no worries. Well, there was White Lives. There was that's us at the M8. Sign that reads White Lives Matter with the flags out. There's me, if you're curious. There's another photograph. Again, just really good stuff. That's where it got like really like. The rain wasn't like bad, but it was kind of like drizzling down. But even then, it was still pretty wet. But it got a lot better once we were heading back home. So, and lastly, there's again curiosity sake. That's me at the very end. Again with White Lives Matter at the side there with the guys holding up the flags. PA Scotland activists held a banner over the M8 in Glasgow. The banner received a great deal of support from passing motorists, which that's definitely true. A lot of people did support that. Let me just get back onto here real quick. Now, let me see if I can quickly download this video because it's technically in a private chat. There's no any reveals of like doxing or anything like that at all. I definitely want to make sure of that. I actually watched the clip before putting this up because again I didn't want to. I want to make sure there was no any like doxing or anything like that at all. So once I'm saying that, I don't know if they're watching the show just now, but I do hope they wouldn't mind me playing this because I think this clip is pretty based to be quite honest with that. Let me see if I can also find an image of the original of the post originally. Hold on 1 second here. Let me see if I can find this real quick and then see with that. Right. What to do is pause that. I wonder if this is also. Wait a minute. Is it? It's not showing on the screen. Just want to double check. I've also noticed we're just towards the end of the show. I'll try and be as quick as I possibly can. We can maybe even end this part on a high note. and then we'll see from there. So let me see if I can. Yeah, I'll save it there. That's fine. That should be all right. What was it originally like? With the wait a minute. Wait. Oh, god damn it! I did see. Maybe I saw it on Twitter, if I'm not mistaken. Wait a minute. Right. Because just again, just to give you guys a bit of context when it comes to the cone on top of the statue before we put the placard on. Let me see if I can get this up here real quick. See it from this channel. Well, channel I should call it account on Twitter. Let me see if I can find this real quick. This guy was a complete cuck. Let me see here. A minute here. It must be like afterwards, I would imagine. Let me see. Some of the guys we're getting in there, so where is the original? Oh, damn it. I really want to showcase this image as like a bit of a context kind of thing. So let me see if I can get this up here. See the video clip I'm at. Right. Let me see here. I'll open this up real quick and then should be appearing on as like recent downloads. Wait a minute. Sorry, folks. 1 second. I'm going to try and see, just before we end the show tonight, I'm going to see if I can try and get this up here real quick because this should be here. Wait a minute. I did save it in this folder. Wait a minute. I saved it there, and it should be here, I would imagine. Yeah. Right. It's opening up now, and I'll pause it instantly. 1 second here. Yeah, you still can't really see the image with the cone that was originally on the statue, but let me see if I can see this for a moment. That's not what I want. Let's see here. Get this up here in a moment. Let's see here. All right. Maybe I can show this in a moment. Hold on a sec. Get this here. Right. So the cone, again, I don't know if you can really see this. What I'll do is if you can't still see it, I'll see if I can find an image of that, and then I can post it in my Telegram. And again, just give you guys a bit of a context with that. But if I can maybe close up on this part here, if I can. God, what's going on here? It's like a green and pinkish type of cone, but has like a dragon type of character on it, if I remember correctly. Again, I know this image doesn't really do it justice. I don't know if I could really find the original, but here's a short clip of us taking it down before we put the White Lives Matter placard on it. If I can have a look at this. Again, it's only short, but this will be like a high note of today's episode. Let's have a look at this. Took it down. They're going to put the placard on it, so there we go. Perfect. Well, I think that will be the end of today's episode. So I know towards the end of that, I was trying my best to see if I can get like a clip of that, but anyway, thing we'll do real quick is I'm gonna see if I can put in the links for the streams that are coming on next at 7 o'clock, and then that will be the end of tonight's episode. With Chi-san, I will be talking about Hong Kong immigrants to the UK. Oh, that'll be interesting. Interesting indeed. Ragnar Iron Spear is live already. Wait, hold on a second here. I'll stream sniping away, holding the
All right.
Yeah.
Shut that
Yeah.
door behind you, man, because there's a massive fucking halo behind you. Again.
Better.
Stream sniping. I'm
Every
holding
Sunday you have a halo. This is as if you're some.
I'll just leave them a
God's
quick message.
Saint. Obviously, I'm saintly. All right, listen. So, as you move through your childhood, then got up to
sniping,
secondary school, you find your group of mates, your sort of clique, whatever.
Soon.
What kind of things were you into? Were you a sporty guy? Were you a computer man? Or
well, I mean, if I may, I'll go back a little bit because
yeah, of course.
Yeah. What I would say is
right
when
now.
I think back to primary school, there are a few things that stand out before I can first remember.
All right, close that. So here's the link for Ragnar Iron Spirits' stream. Chief Moody, did the cone fit in the bin? Well, I don't think we did. No, we didn't put it in the bin. We just put it to the side, and then of course, in later on, if they take the placard off and then they want to, put the cone back on. I mean, they can if they want to, but the whole, as long as we had the placard on the statue, that's what mattered to us in that case. Right. Anyway, but we didn't put it in the bin. No, we wouldn't do that in any way, shape, or form. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to see if I can get the links for the PA Book Club. So if you're interested in that, I will put the link for that. Multiple links for that just now. So here is Mark's Odysee link for the PA Book Club stream. And also Martin W in the chat has pointed out Dangerfield will be live as well. So if you're interested in watching Dangerfield, check him out as well if you want to. There is the Odysee link for Mark's or for the PA Book Club stream. There's Laura's DLive link if you want to watch it through DLive. There we go there as well. Another link will be, if I get this up here, if you want to listen to the audio track of this upcoming stream by PA Book Club, you can always go to radioalbion.com, which will be in the stream just now. Finally, if you have any questions to ask the panelists about the book or anything like that at all, be it paid or unpaid questions, sorry, excuse me, you can ask them through Mark's Entropy, which I'll post in the link just now, and then that would be the end of today's stream. Yeah, that's it. That's Mark's Entropy. Perfect. So I'm seeing people are leaving just now, which I mean, it's completely fair. It's just past 7 o'clock already. I didn't expect it to end this soon, but I think that will come to the end of tonight's stream. So I greatly appreciate everyone turning up. I should be back on Thursday with episode 94. Maybe I'll have a guest on. I'm not entirely too sure yet, but I'll keep you guys posted for any updates of that upcoming episode. I'll still talk and I'll see if I get an outro song for tonight's episode. But I hope everyone enjoyed tonight's episode. It's hopefully a lot more lighthearted and a lot more white pilling compared to the last 2 episodes. But as long as people enjoyed it, that's the main thing. And that's going to be it for today's stream. Hope everyone enjoyed it. And yeah, so I greatly enjoyed it myself. So there we go. Perfect. Again, if you want to support me financially, or if you enjoyed the stream or anything like that at all, please hit the like button, subscribe to my channel. If you want to support me financially, as I mentioned earlier on, the links for my coffee and my PayPal account will be down in the description down below. Again, please don't feel obligated like you have to donate. If you want to donate to me, feel free to do so. If you don't, again, that's completely fine. I'm not, like I said, not going to lose any sleep with it whatsoever. So that being said, that's it. That will be the end of tonight's stream. And I'll see if I can check out some of the streams tonight and then see what's going on with that. So that should be all good and dandy. And that will be it for tonight. So again, thank you all very much for watching. This is Chief Moody signing out. You have been watching the Mood of the Nation podcast. Sorry, excuse me. And I will see you all in the next episode. Take care, stay safe, and enjoy the rest of your Sunday evening. Thank you and good night. Take care.
Reach the wizard.
It's blood. Wake up.
Reach the wizard.
It's blood. Wake up. It's blood.
Reach the wizard.
It's blood. Wake up.
Reach the wizard.
It's blood.